I ain't signing nothing.
Now we're going to call the regular board meeting to order for Tuesday, August 13th, 2013. We'll start with the invocation by Alderman Barnhill, and then I'll lead the Pledge of Allegiance. So if we'll all stand, please.
Would you bow, please? Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight. Thank you for the many blessings that we as Americans enjoy. We know that we are truly a blessed nation and truly a blessed community. We give you thanks for all of these blessings. We know that you are the provider of these. We also ask that you be with each of the soldiers in this great nation of ours as they're in foreign lands protecting the freedoms that we hold so dearly. We ask that you be with them, be with their families, because they're struggling and suffering as their loved ones are overseas protecting the freedoms that we enjoy. We ask that you be with each of us tonight as we make decisions that ultimately affect the direction in which the city of Franklin will go. Always give us spiritual wisdom and guidance. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 4 on the agenda is grievances or statements from citizens. Citizen comments are pertinent at this time for items that are not on the agenda. I have asked you to fill out a information card so that we can accurately record your name and address. And I have a total of 4 or 5 cards here. And I would ask that you be brief and succinct. If someone else has said the same thing you have said, or if you're going to say the same thing someone else said, I might ask you to ditto that or be a little briefer. But would try to limit to just a couple of minutes if I could. So start out with, go to the podium, that would be William Morgan.
Thank you. My name is William Morgan. I live at 3110 Del Rio Pike in Franklin. It's in Williamson County. I notice a lot of signs in this room that say historic City of Franklin, and I like that. It's important to all of us. My wife and I are part of that history as we moved Rose Hill, which was on the Worthen Angus Farm on Columbia Pike. It sat in the middle of the Battle of Franklin, and we saved that home, moved it to Del Rio Pike, and have restored it and are a part of the continuing history of this county and city. And I'm here tonight just to express my deep concern about a potential Del Webb development directly across the street from me. The last I have seen, they were going to put essentially 1,000 homes on 235 acres. And that is not the history that I have in mind, that I had in mind when I went forward. That part of Del Rio is full of history. 2 houses down is 2 Rivers, which is one of the Perkins homes. Just down the street from me is Meeting of the Waters, another historic home. And then Livingfield Moore's home are all historic homes along the Del Rio corridor. And as this comes forward at some point, we know it is, I hope that you would reject this proposal for this time on that property because it is not, in my opinion, in my wife's opinion, a part of the historic city of Franklin that we all love and enjoy. Thank you.
And Cindy, I'm going to apologize for your last name, but I'm going to say Bahauser.
Pretty well.
Thank you. And if you signed up to speak, if you just go ahead and come on up to the podium and form a line, that'd be great. Go ahead, Cindy.
I'm sorry, Mayor. Thank you for letting me speak this evening. I'm Cindy Babsar, and I am a resident of Whitehall Farms. And the proposed Del Webb retirement community would be bordering my community as it stands today. And I wanted to let everyone know that our community is very much opposed to this development. I personally have a vested interest because my street is one that they would be taking to make a pass-through for the new community. So obviously my property value would be instantly deflated if this development is approved. But to echo William's comments, it is a very historic part of Williamson County, and one of the reasons that many people invested large amounts of money to live in this area, because it is so beautiful, because it is so historic, and I hope that you will help to preserve that. I also wanted to remind everyone that our community gave a petition back in May. Almost every homeowner in Whitehall signed saying they did not want to be annexed into the city in order to have this development border us. We have since learned that Del Webb's trying to skirt the moratorium on annexation by revamping their proposal and now only bordering us on two sides. So we will revise our petition, and not only will Whitehall Farms residents be signing that petition, but we've asked many other communities around us to do the same, and several are represented here this evening in the audience. So thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
Mr. Cashier.
Hi, I'm Joseph Cascia, 3200 Del Rio Pike. I reside at Meeting of the Waters, one of the oldest homes in Williamson County. It was built in 1810 by Mr. Thomas Hardin Perkins. I'm proud to say I'm the first non-direct descendant to ever live there. And what attracted me to this home and what helped my wife and I restore it was the historic overlay of the area. It is gorgeous. As everybody knows, bikers enjoy it. People enjoy the river. People enjoy the rural aspects, hiking. I had people come and picnic in my front yard to stop from riding their bikes and just stop and have a brief lunch while they go on and ride more. I'm not naive enough to believe that what attracted me to the area is not going to attract others. But clearly the proposed development as written is wrong, and there's a right way to develop an area such as this, and there's a wrong way, and in my opinion this is clearly wrong, and I'm going to encourage you not to vote in favor of doing this.
Todd Kastner.
Good evening. I'm Todd Kastner. I live at 3210 Del Rio, right next to Mr. Cascia. And ironically, I do development work for a living. I've done it for 28 years for the largest senior housing company in the country, Brookdale Senior Living. Because of that, I've been in an awful lot of Del Webb communities around the country, and we frequently end up near them, located near them. Those developments are very out of character with rural Williamson County. Excuse me. They're very dense. In fact, relative to northwest Williamson County, a Del Webb community would be high-density, low-income housing. I'd love to leave you, and I will leave you, a set of photos of other Del Webb communities, and you'll notice if you have the opportunity to look at these photos, as you drive down the road, you'll see one garage door after another. They're garage-scapes. The Del Webb communities are a 1968 concept. They are nowhere nearly as nicely executed as West Haven was, the neo-traditional community. Even though it's very dense, it at least is pleasant to look at. What's really amazing about Del Webb communities is 15 to 25 years after they're developed, they seem rather desolate in that folks have aged in place, and you have a vast neighborhood of 80-year-olds. Half the spouses have typically expired. And it almost looks like a neutron bomb went off. You don't see people out in yards. You don't see people doing things. It's really a dated concept. These are 1,600 to 2,400-foot homes, highly dense. They are about half the value of the median value of Williamson County, much less northwest Williamson County. You know, you can only develop land once, and then you've changed it forever. You're never going to go back to bucolic if you allow this kind of density. It's, I think, a real travesty compared to what makes Franklin and Williamson County so special. Del Rio Pike is a very short road. Nonetheless, there are 5 National Historic Register homes on that short road. If Mr. Morgan's house hadn't been relocated, it would qualify also, so really there's 6. There's 2 real close on 96, there are 2 on Old Natchez, and it's just a special area. It's so antithetical to the intent of Franklin's land use plan. I would hope that you would not support it. bikers stop in Joe's front yard and have picnics. People stop in my front yard and take photographs of horses and cows. It's a great place. I love that they do. It's just not at all what's being proposed here. And would desperately hope, I hope I'm singing to the choir, and I hope that you appreciate historic Franklin and what makes Williamson County and historic Franklin so special. Thank you.
Brant Bousquet.
Brent Bousquet, 122 Riverwood Drive, Franklin 37069. I live in the Cottonwood subdivision, and I drive down Cotton Lane and Del Rio Pike every day when I come to work here in downtown Franklin. And the last person used the adjective bucolic, and that's exactly what that drive is. It's absolutely beautiful, pastoral. It's very peaceful coming back. So I have a very selfish reason for not wanting to see this development there. But also, I'm not an avid biker and jogger, but I do go out on my bike sometimes and I do jog. There are a lot of people that are out there frequently, and I think it would be very dangerous. I think the people that drive there now, it's not heavily trafficked, and people are gracious to the joggers and to the bikers and give them their room. But I can't imagine there being any more traffic on these roadways than there is already. Thanks.
Thank you. Item number 5 is communications from Williamson County Mayor and Williamson County Commission, and tonight we're honored to have Mayor Rogers Anderson here at our meeting. We're glad you're here tonight, and certainly want to make a comment about the good working relationship that we do have with Mayor Anderson and how we work together. And then second, we have 9th District Commissioner Mary Brockman, who's here, and also wants to make some comments, and we welcome you to make your comments tonight, and glad to have you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Alderman. I appreciate being allowed to speak on this issue. Mary Brockman, 1407 Old Hillsborough Road, County Commissioner. I'm almost into my 12th year as County Commissioner. I think maybe this may be the first time I've come to address you. And maybe it seems a little bit preemptive since something is not on the table. You don't have it on your agenda. It has this area which is in your UGB has not been annexed, but the constituents who have contacted me have spoken very clearly. I'm their representative at this juncture, and it was important for me to come and just let you know their voices and have a feeling of the tone of their reaction. In the paper, I was quoted as referring to this area as the Harpeth River Valley Historic and Scenic District. Well, that's kind of an unofficial district, but in a sense, it should have that name because it's so remarkable. It was recognized by Scenic America years ago, and they did an inventory. They had a student from MTSU's Historic Preservation Department look at this particular valley, and I still have my name tag on because I came from the Harpeth River Watershed Association gathering here in downtown Franklin, and in a sense, I kept it on because a river does run through this area, and it makes it the combination of the main Harpeth and the West Harpeth, and that's what makes it the landscape that it is. Interestingly enough, I was asked back in 2006 to serve on a task force, and the task force was entitled Land Conservation and Stewardship. I believe Dan Klatt was on it at that juncture, so it has been a few years. But I thought I would read you a quote from the task force recommendation, and it says, "The northwest quadrant of the UGB was chosen as a high priority for conservation and preservation. The area had many contributing factors that made it a priority, including scenic vistas and corridors, historic estates such as River Grange, Pleasant View, Two Rivers, Rose Hill, Hamilton Place, and on, and its role as an edge of the city and the UGB. The task force decided that this land was under development pressure and conservation measures are needed. The task force recommended informally that the land outside of the future Mack Hatcher Parkway be preserved as much as possible, and if development occurs, it be in the form of hamlets. The land inside the future Mack Hatcher Parkway alignment should develop with concentrated and higher density development. Density should be transferred inward toward the city core. I thought it was an interesting perspective to look back at that recommendation. And when they mentioned Mac Hatcher, of course, I can't not mention the roadway being apparently deferred, not on the list, the 3-year list that was announced by our John Schroer, head of TDOT now, and that's, to me, is a game changer for this area. When that looks like it was coming through, I thought, well, you know, this area is going to develop tremendously. Because given the fact that you've just got Little Del Rio Pike, it couldn't really handle the 1,000 homes or the 770 that's been reworked by Pulte. And the other reason we're here is that Pulte Home is a national developer, and they have the resources and the wherewithal to be a force and to keep coming. So even though you haven't looked at annexation yet, and you haven't taken up their proposal for this property, I just thought it was important that I come tonight. The homeowners and the landowners who are in the county, they know they could be annexed in the future. This is your area to plan for. It's in my district now, but it's in your hands. My advice is to go slowly, be judicious. This area is so remarkable. People call me who've moved here from California. Oh my gosh, I have chills down my arms. I've just driven Del Rio, Old Hillsborough, and Old Natchez Trace. Old Natchez Trace has just been approved by the Highway Department to be improved in a very context-sensitive way. It is going to be wonderful. We're not going to lose that resource. So this road comes into Del Rio, and it all, you know, things come together. It's not just something, it's not just this property in isolation. Whatever happens there is going to reflect what's going to happen to the land next to it. It's a very large amount of agricultural land, and I'm not naive. You have it to plan, and people are coming here. But this is, don't lose something that it really is a quality that people in, you know, you go to Middleburg, Virginia, you go to Lexington, Kentucky, incredible density. But then as soon as you cross a certain point, you have the horse farms. Mm-hmm. And it's just, this is what we have out there. So I really thank you. It's a treasure.
Thank you, Commissioner. Item number 6, approval of minutes from July the 23rd, 2010 work session and the July 23rd, 2013 Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Appropriate motion, seconded by Alderman Blanton. Any discussion or corrections? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Not leaving.
He's chasing Rogers out.
Wait for me.
Work session. We do have a couple of recognitions tonight, and the first one I'd like to ask Ivan Thurber and Juan Davis from our Water Management Department to come up with me. And stand over here, guys. I want those ties to show up. No, right here. The Franklin Water Management Department was presented with an award for outstanding management and execution of our pretreatment program for the Kentucky Tennessee Water Environmental Association. The award for Control Authority Pretreatment Excellence was given to the staff for the city's water reclamation plant this week at the 2013 Water Professionals Conference in Louisville, Kentucky. There are 103 cities in Tennessee with approved pretreatment programs, so it was an honor to be picked to receive this award over 102 other cities. So these are the guys that are responsible. We appreciate the great work you do for the city of Franklin. Thank you so much and what you do for the citizens. and you've started a precedent with those tires. If I could ask the Mercy Children's Clinic staff to come up. I'll let you assemble yourself as you want to. I'm not sure how to stand with y'all. I like these red shirts. These red shirts are not making any negative statement tonight. They're actually making a very positive statement, and we
That
appreciate
means
that.
Ann's safe. Ann, you're safe.
Pardon?
Ann is safe.
Get on up there.
Way to go, Ann. If I'd known, I would have worn red also. And this is the proclamation I'd like to make. Whereas Mercy Children's Clinic began seeing patients in April of 1999 in a small house on 9th Avenue in the heart of downtown Franklin, with a vision of providing quality health care to any child who needs it. Whereas in 2010, the leadership of Mercy, after much prayer and discussion, determined God was calling them to add adult care and to join forces with Grace Medical Clinic and Dr. Richard Anderson. Whereas the clinic today has grown to more than 10,000 patients who call Mercy their health care home, and more than 21,000 patients visited in the last year. Whereas on January the 1st, 2013, Mercy Children's Clinic and Grace Medical Clinic joined forces to become Mercy Community Healthcare. Whereas no one at Mercy Community Healthcare is too old, too young, too rich, or too poor to receive the very best medical and behavioral health care from Mercy's experienced medical team, and most importantly, no one is turned away because of their inability to pay. Now, therefore, on behalf of our community, I offer our sincere congratulations to Mercy Community Healthcare on its continuing effort to provide the best medical care possible for the entire family with the opening of the Richard Anderson Adult Center. Who's not showing?
Margaret.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good job.
Yeah, thanks, our pleasure. Any miscellaneous reports tonight?
Mr. Mayor, I have one real quick item. We have a listing at the end of our agenda of some of the meetings that are going on of the various commissions of the city. And I do want to add, the Housing Commission has a subcommittee, a committee on redevelopment and infrastructure, and they're holding a meeting on Tuesday, August 20th at 7:30 a.m. here in City Hall, and just making folks aware of that going on as well.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
Get used to this. MBA at Franklin Friday.
There you go.
Scrimmage. It's a scrimmage. Freshmen play at 5. That's the only one that matters. No, I'm just kidding. The varsity will play after that.
Very good. Any other miscellaneous reports?
Any position reports?
Yeah.
Numbers that we should
Well,
look
the numbers get issued in New Jersey, like different ones, so there'll be a kid in the 70s, you'll see.
All right.
Look in the program for McClendon.
Yep.
Okay, item number 9, the consent agenda. All items under the consent agenda are deemed to be non-controversial and routine in nature by the governing body. They will be approved as recommended by committee or staff by one motion of the governing body. Tonight, we're considering items number 16 through 28.
I'd like to remove
Yes, ma'am.
number 18.
22.
22
23.
and 23. And was that a motion? Would somebody give a motion?
Oh,
to-
no, but we've also got to remove the ones that they've been asked.
20 and 25.
And 25.
Yeah.
20 and 25?
Yes.
Might as well pull out some sleeping bags.
What about the ones that we
removed from,
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a
No, those
motion
were
that
on just.
I would look for a motion to approve the
That
consent
we
agenda
approve
and
this-
withdraw those
Withdraw.
items that have
Yeah.
been stated.
exactly.
Appropriate motion second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Any opposed? It does pass unanimously. Item number 10, consideration of ordinance 2013-05, an ordinance to revise the parking requirements for attached dwellings in Table 5-9, minimum off-street parking standards of the Franklin zoning ordinance. This is the third and final reading. Is there a motion?
I move for approval.
Appropriate motion?
About this.
Second by Alderman Skinner. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. Item number 11, consideration ordinance 2013-17, an ordinance to rezone plus or minus 1.45 acres from office residential district to residential variety district for the property located at 1319 West Main Street.
move for approval.
Second.
Appropriate motion second. Any discussion?
Yes,
Alderman Martin.
I just want to say that my objection has nothing to do with the intent of affordable housing, only the location.
Other comments?
Same.
Ready to vote?
Sir.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
I see 2 noes, Alderman Peterson, Alderman Martin. Motion passes 6-2. Item number 12, consideration ordinance 2013-24, an ordinance to adopt the International Code Council Accessible and Usable Buildings and Facilities 2009 edition. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Appropriate motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. New business. Consideration of Resolution 2013-51 and a resolution of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for the City of Franklin adopting an estimate of revenues and expenditures for the Water and Sanitary Sewer Utility Fund fiscal year 2013-14 and fiscal year 2014-15, providing an effective date. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Appropriate motion, seconded by Alderman Peterson. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Item number 14, consideration of renewals of liquor license retailer certificate for Holiday Wine and Liquors.
Move for approval.
Appropriate motion, and seconded by Alderman Bransford. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Item number 15, consideration professional services contract with Lamb and Associates in the amount of $97,800 for the design and engineering services of the Household Hazardous Waste Facility building located at 417 Century Court for the City of Franklin Sanitation Services Facility.
Easy for you to say.
Yes. Is there a motion?
So
Move for
move.
approval.
Second.
Appropriate motion,
What was
seconded
the
by
caption again?
Vice Mayor. You should never ask that. Any
I
discussion?
wanted him to pronounce that name on the liquor license.
I'll be glad to do that. Jagisha S. Patel. I did that for you. But we're considering item 15, so that's a little out of order.
Motion to approve.
We've already got that.
Oh, great, good. Then I'll second it.
I think we had that too. didn't we?
Just need to vote.
Well, what are you wasting time for?
It was your off-color comment there.
It's after 8.
That was hardly
We're
off color,
punchy
but
now, and it's been a long night.
All in favor say aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. Item number 18, consideration ordinance 2013-35, an ordinance to rezone 195.5 acres Water Edge PUD subdivision from agricultural district to residential variety for the property located 4413 South Carruthers Road, established a public hearing for September the 10th, 2013.
Move for approval.
Appropriate motion, and second by Alderman Bransford. Discussion.
All right, I really don't know if this is the place to talk about this, but since we did not discuss it in the work session, I just want to say that after looking at the plans for this development, I am really disappointed that we are allowing developments to come into the city with all front-loading garages, you know, we went through a period of encouraging rear loaders or side loaders. And now that we have established through the planning department or the land use plan or whatever, the garages to be set back 10 feet, now that's what everybody wants. That's the norm now. Everybody wants all front-loading garages with this 10-foot setback. And I'm really disappointed in this. I'm particularly disappointed in this particular, the rezoning of this property, because that's what the development plan says. That, I mean, that's what I understand that they're going to do. And I would like for us to really consider that, our planning staff to really encourage going back to not all of them all along the front. And that's right where they are right now. As long as when we allowed them to do 10 feet instead of 20 feet back, now that's where they all are. And they, I don't know why they have to, I thought they had to give a reason for that, but evidently not anymore. And Alderman,
I think you're right. I think it's,
Peterson might be able to address
No.
that. I don't really know.
I think the 10 feet back from the facade gives enough room for a car to park, but I understand your concern. Absolutely.
That has become the norm rather than the exception. Thank you.
Ready to vote? Alderman Bransford?
Was it more so for aesthetics purposes? I mean, functionality, it functions, but it's for aesthetic?
Right.
Is that?
Everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need to change it.
Ready to vote?
Yes.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Item 20, consideration of agreement, City of Franklin Contract 2012-0009 between the City of Franklin and Boyle Investment Company for the construction of the 5-mile crossing and Berry Farms crossing roadway infrastructure as revised by the developer.
We want to defer that.
Yeah, actually, items 20 and 25 are the same item.
Oh,
They came
that's
through
right.
different routes, but it's essentially the agreement with Boyle, and it had been discussed at the CIC a week ago, and the discussion had been to defer that to the August 27th meeting.
Okay, so I move
And
to
we would
defer.
bring that probably to work session and to the board meeting as well, and see where we are with it. We're still working on revising the agreement.
Can we do 20 and 25 together? Would that motion be satisfactory with you?
That's good. Thank you.
And was there a second
Second.
to defer items 20 and 25 to August 27th meeting? Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Item 22, consideration of ordinance 2013-28 to be entitled an ordinance to amend Chapter 5, Section 5.3.7, Section 5.3.8, and Section 5.3.9 of the City of Franklin zoning ordinance regulating hamlets, conservation subdivisions, and traditional neighborhood development, establishing a public hearing for September the 10th, 2013.
Move for approval.
Appropriate motion.
Second.
Second by Alderman Barnhill. Discussion.
Mr. Mayor, I asked us to pull this one to discuss it. We didn't get to discuss it in work session, and usually these kinds of things go through the joint planning in Bowman, and I don't remember us discussing this. And for this to be on work session in this session tonight, I'm wondering what's the.
And we did not send it through the work session. Generally, it is a text amendment, and the reason for it is that none of these things have been used, because if you use the hamlet or the conservation district, you have to buy into the whole package. What staff was looking at is the ability to put these regulations into a guideline where a developer might pick and choose among the various items that you could do, and we might have some more use for those particular items. Right now, nobody's using them.
So, question, if this goes into a guidebook, then what authority is this just going to be created by staff and planning, or will this be?
It would be created by staff. It would be part of what is currently in the zoning ordinance. It would be placed into a guideline, and then developers would be able to use various sections of it instead of the entire section, which nobody is currently using. So what we're doing is eliminating a large section of our zoning ordinance that really has not been used at all.
So what it does, may I interject? So what it does, I understand what you're saying here, so it eliminates that and says if you're going to do hamlets or whatever, then you just go to this guideline book.
That's correct.
And within the guideline book itself, then you have the things you can pick and choose of how you want to set this hamlet up or whatever.
That is correct.
Okay.
But staff will decide what you can pick and choose?
No, staff wouldn't decide. That you could pick and choose any of the items within that guideline book to decide to use or not use. Currently, you have to buy, currently you're either all in or you're not in at all.
So it's simplifying.
It's simplifying a zoning ordinance that really has not been used.
And then it goes, I'm sorry, may I ask?
You go ahead and finish, then I'll recognize Alderman Houston.
All right, thanks. Then, okay, along with that piggybacking off, I think we're sort of in sync here, asking the same questions, but, so where does that go from then? Then it would still go to the planning commission?
It would still go to the
And
planning.
it wouldn't really come to us unless it's, well, how would it?
Well, it could come to you as part of a development plan.
For the, oh.
And those would be
Right,
laid out
yeah.
in the development plan.
Okay. Thanks, I'm done.
That was what I was going to say. It would come probably in a development plan.
Yeah, probably in the plan.
But apparently, from what I understand, there's so many pieces to it, the way that it's written right now, that no one is interested in doing, because they have to do all the restrictive parts to it. And they might be interested in doing something of this type, but the way we have it written right now, it's just precluded that. As you well know, this zoning ordinance in some places is extremely detailed. This is, and sometimes it's not at all, sometimes it doesn't say some important things, but this is one of the places where it was extremely detailed, and apparently from what we're hearing, that makes it not workable in the form that it's in right now.
Good, sounds good.
If I may, Mayor, it makes it more of a menu item, if you will, to pick from, as opposed to having a much more comprehensive list. It's like, I guess to extend my analogy, it's a menu item as opposed to getting the whole buffet. That you may not want all those elements, and it still comes to you as part of a development plan. And it's just putting it in a different context for people to choose from.
Ready to vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Item number 23, consideration of ordinance 2013-39 to be entitled, an ordinance to amend Chapter 5, Section 5.3.5, parentheses 2 of the City of Franklin zoning ordinance regulating garage door width for residential detached housing, establishing a public hearing for September the 10th, 2013. Is there a motion?
I move for approval for discussion.
Appropriate motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Barnhill. Discussion.
Just one question. Are we positive that it's going to say in the ordinance that this is only for rear and side loading?
Well,
Okay.
Ms. Powers said yes.
Thank you.
So,
okay.
any
I
other
have a-
discussion,
yes.
Alderman Peterson?
Yes, this came through the planning commission without a dissenting vote. However, now this is street-facing garage doors located in the front, side, or corner. It says that are not street-facing will have garage doors up to 18 feet in width. In other words, what it does now is, instead of requiring single-door garages, it's going to allow double garage doors, which we have not had for a number of years.
That's for the front.
No, for any,
non-street
for not,
facing
right, for non-street facing. It says which, you know, seemed okay, but then it says, in no case may a two-car garage door be less than 16 feet in width. And my question became, is 16 feet adequate for two cars to get in? Because on a single garage door, it has to be 9 feet. And whenever I checked mine, it's 9 feet, but there's not a lot of room in there, and, you know, to get in there. But the question becomes that if you do 16 feet, you not only have, I mean, you know, you've got more than the 9 feet to get in, but to try to get two vehicles in there, once one of them's in, how do you get the other one in? And actually, since we voted, I've had somebody tell me that they measured their garage door that's 16 feet, and they can only get one vehicle in there. You know, in other words, once they get the first one in with the 16, you know, then there's not room enough to get another one in there. So I'm saying that I'm withholding my concern about the 16-foot. It's kind of like whenever I went out to my own garage and measured, I want to look at a 16-foot one and just see one car go in, one vehicle go in, and another one go in. In other words, I need a.
Why is that even in there?
Well, because that's what the design professionals ask.
And there was a discussion at the planning commission where we ended up at that number. There was discussion about there are some that are less than 18, right?
Yes, yes.
So-
But as I say, I mean, I don't want to go to anybody's house that are, I mean, like, you know, that already lives in it, but I just like to go out and see if you can get them in, because as I say, then I've had somebody
So
since
we're
then
we're
say,
18,
they've got
right?
16 foot and they can, once they get the one vehicle in, they can't get the other one
Maybe
in.
they've got smart cars.
Oh, Lord.
Well, no, this person said he could.
Smart cars.
He could get it in. So as I say, I just want to, I just need to see, somebody said, well, they're doing this all the time now, haven't, and so I just want to see
This
that
is the
happening,
first of
whether you
three
can
readings
actually
also.
park the cars inside the garage.
We should all get on a bus
Yeah.
Yeah.
and go
Measure the garage.
garages to inspect.
Check, no, well, check your own garage and see if it's 16
So this-
feet.
I can't get a car in my side, but that's because I have a squat rack there.
So we're going to 18 feet on this, though.
The 18
It
feet is
says-
probably okay.
But it says garages that are not street-facing may have garage doors up to 18
Up to
feet.
18 feet, but they
But no
can have
case less
16.
than 16, so 16 may be too little.
That's what I'm
you're saying.
concerned about. That's what I'm
So
concerned about.
why is that even in there?
First of three.
Well, because that's what the design
first of
professionals
3
requested.
readings.
I can tell you right now.
So we've got 2 more readings on this?
Two more
Yes,
readings
all right.
after this
yes.
one.
Thank you.
Ready to
Right.
vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously on first reading.
We might
But
need
yeah.
some more information
I
on
need
that.
a motion to go into executive session.
I need more information on that.
Second.
Appropriate, all in favor say aye.
I got it.
yacht ever.